Thug Rose getting ready to take on Carla Esparza. Do you care? Very direct and blunt question, right? It's either yes or no. And I'm just wondering, is it you, the audience, that doesn't care, or it's the media that's not captivated by it? Guys, I have never seen a title fight in history as under-discussed as this one. I'm a fan. A true fan. I know their entire history of both girls. I have been nothing but impressed at the way Carla Esparza has risen back up to the top. I have been nothing but impressed at watching Thug Rose prove that she's the greatest female fighter of all time. I know the history of both of these girls. A lot of you don't know that it's a rematch. And I'm not attempting to condescend to you. We get new fans all the time. But in fairness, this is a rematch. Why is nobody discussing it? As involved as I am within this sport and within these two athletes specifically, I found out 6 days ago they're fighting this Saturday. I live and operate in this space. Now, in my defense and in full disclosure, I knew that these two girls were fighting. I've known for 2 months that these girls were fighting. I knew that it was coming. I knew that Carla was making the push and that Carla had earned it. I knew that Thug Rose was welcoming it and always wanted to get this one back. Like, I know the entire story of it. I did not know they were up till Saturday. I did not know. I have yet to see a poster. I've seen plenty of artwork, just to use posters as a jumping off point. I've seen plenty of artwork that feature Oliveira and feature Gaethje. I know every single fight on this card. I know about the loser leave town aspect of Cowboy Cerrone versus Joe Lazaro. I know all about it. I know Carla and Rose were fighting this weekend. How come? How come we aren't discussing this? And you've got a whole bunch of areas like, well, okay, Gaethje and Oliveira is so big, that's just stealing. Okay, that could be fine. It could be media saying, hey, listen, we've reached out to Rose's team. We've reached out to Carla's team. They have refused comment. They're locked down and they're in training. Okay, I'll accept that answer. I know a number of fights where that has happened, though, and the media has done a good job of telling us, here's what happened. We can't get any dialogue. We can't get any interviews. We can't get any footage because both of these gals are completely buckled down and not let us into training camp. Like, no story ends up turning and manifesting into a story. I haven't heard anything about this. Imagine that. Somebody that lives and operates within this space, that knows both girls' careers full well, that has known for 2 months that this fight is coming, 6 days ago found out that it's here. What? What do you guys make of that? I'm just asking, what do you make of that? Number of answers. Chael's not paying attention. Chael missed it. All of those things happen. Maybe. Be pretty hard to get past me, in all fairness. I didn't go out of my way the day that I found out that it did happen. I went to my normal dirt sheets. I had the normal conversation. I went to normal websites that I rely on for all the information that I get, and I happened to see it. How come I didn't see it before? How come I didn't know this was going down? How come Oliveira and Gaethje is getting all the attention? How come the whole rest of the card is being more featured? It's an interesting spot. And if you do back up, it really does matter that you understand that Rose lost the first contest. Not only did Rose lose, in all fairness to just what happened that night, it wasn't overly competitive. Like, I've talked to you guys to the point of nauseum. The one thing that still exists today in 2022 that was established in 1993 when this sport started. And there's only one thing. Every technique has changed, every strategy, even the rules and the weight classes, the genders involved, everything has changed except for one thing, which is if you take somebody down and you keep them there, you are going to win the fight. That is what Carla Esparza does so well. In the absence of Tatiana Suarez, Carla Esparza, without question, is the best wrestler in the division. With Tatiana in there, you can have a meaningful, spirited argument on it. But without, for sure, it's Esparza. And if you look at the way that the first fight went, Esparza was able to take Rose down. At the end, there wasn't a whole lot to see there. It wasn't the world's greatest match. It wasn't the one, if you're a true fight fan, you got to go back and watch. It wasn't one that anybody was clamoring to redo, except for Rose herself. Rose herself wants to fix this. Rose herself demanded that Carla be given this opportunity. I don't know that that was the direction the promotion was going to go. I think that Carla deserves a ton of respect and credit for being the champion of the world, getting knocked off the horse, and doing whatever it takes, no matter how long it took to get back, just to have the opportunity to reclaim the championship. Like, I think it's a really interesting story. I think it's a feel-good story. I think it's a relatable story. Whether we all have done something like that in life, or we wished that we had the courage and the perseverance to do what Carla has done just to create an opportunity. And your only reward, if you're Carla, is that you get locked in a steel cage with the greatest female fighter to have ever done it. Like, that's pretty impressive. The whole thing is pretty damn interesting to me. How come nobody agrees? How come nobody's talking about it? How come a lot of you right now didn't know it was a rematch until I just said that? How come a lot of you right now had to take out your smartphones and or sit down at your computers and Google that just to confirm that I'm even right that it was a rematch? How come this isn't being discussed? Rose did an interview 48 hours ago that I happened to see, and Rose was very indignant of the fact that I just brought up, that Carla's wrestling at the time they fought the first time was superior. When Rose did her interview, she only talked about one thing that she's worked on. She didn't talk about MMA. She didn't talk about her overall game. She didn't talk about her conditioning. She talked about her wrestling. I am ready to wrestle Carla Esparza. Now, from everything that we've seen within Rose, from the time she lost to Carla till now, there's no reason to doubt her. But there is a reason to have this contest. There is a reason that this matters. There is a fact pattern that supports the idea that we've identified the two right girls. The true number one contender against the current champion. That seems to me like a story that the world of MMA would get behind. How come they haven't?